Well, Nathan,
What's up, Neves?
time is here. We're gonna be reviewing Godzilla x Kong x Batman x Superman, Alien vs. Predator, Requiem, Matrix Revolution Part 2.
Why does that sound like a real movie title that would come out in 2024?
That's Hollywood.
The titles are so fucked. Let's review it.
Yep.
Welcome back to the Real Talk Podcast, episode 131. I'm your host, Nathan, and I'm joined by the man himself, Matthew Neves, to my left.
Thank you.
And today we are going to be reviewing Godzilla x Kong, The New Empire.
Oh my God.
Or whatever the title is.
It could have been anything.
The trailer doesn't really say the X. I don't know. I mean, the X is silent, apparently.
Yeah, exactly. It's such a. It could have been called Godzilla X Resurgence, Kong Destroyer, whatever.
Also, Godzilla getting top billing for this title is
I know.
a little bit misleading. We'll
Yes,
get into that.
Absolutely, yeah.
But what was your thoughts going into this movie, Nev? Because we reacted to the trailer.
Yep.
What was your thoughts there?
My initial thoughts. So I love the Monsterverse. I wasn't a huge fan of the first Godzilla, but the sequel, Godzilla King of the Monsters.
Yeah.
Woo! I love that. I'm a big fan. King Ghidorah was in it. Mothra. A lot of other kaiju monsters. I'm really into those older films.
Yeah.
Back in the day when Toho made them. Even the newer ones too. So I loved King of the Monsters. Kong Skull Island was awesome.
Yeah.
I love that one. And Godzilla versus Kong was good as well.
Yeah. So me, like, I'm not too into the Monsterverse. I haven't seen too much of the old stuff. So I don't know all the lore and all that stuff, but I saw Godzilla vs. Kong in 2021.
Yep.
And obviously I saw Skull Island, the Skull Island one
Yeah.
as well. So that was my kind of knowledge going into it. Godzilla vs. Kong in 2021, I thought was decent.
Yeah.
Had its fun moments, but I don't remember anything about it, to be honest with you. It's just like one of those movies where it's like, there's fun action, but the plot is not memorable.
No.
So, in turn, it's just not very memorable film.
The sad issue is, like, that movie, the only thing I remember is, Mechagodzilla.
Right.
Mechagodzilla, and then King Kong and Godzilla beat the shit out of him. I was like, that's all you really need to know?
Yeah.
Because the plot doesn't really fucking matter in these movies.
Which is the case with most of these films.
Yeah.
And this one is no fucking different. I mean, the trailer just looked like they were just beating the shit out of each other and destroying every possible landmark they could find.
Yep.
And that's what the movie was for the most part, at least the good parts of it. But it's a Kong movie.
Yes. Well, similar to King Kong versus Godzilla, I felt like they covered a lot of Kong in that one too.
Right.
And this one was even more so.
This one is a Kong
It should have
movie.
just been called King Kong, the New Empire, also Godzilla.
Right. Also, kind of Godzilla charges up a
He's
little
on the
bit.
side.
Every 30 minutes, there's a scene of him charging.
The best is when they cut to him sleeping at the Roman Colosseum. Not once, but twice.
But twice. That's the closure of his character. He goes back to the Colosseum and rolls up into a ball.
And it's not like you could do interesting shit with Godzilla, but I feel like the director, what's his name, Adam Wingard,
Yeah.
he wanted to make Kong Skull Island Part 2.
Yeah.
That's what it felt like to me with this movie. Which
Kind of what we got. Like,
yeah, like his continuation of King Kong versus Godzilla, you see more of Kong's progression as a character in this one, which I really liked, but
yeah, that's one of my notes. I'm like, wait a second, there's barely any Godzilla, but I'm okay with it because I think they do right by Kong here. I really do. Like, there's some fun moments with Kong. There's some emotional moments with Kong.
Yeah.
You get his little Diddy Kong sidekick.
yeah,
coming
Diddy
along.
Kong, man. Well, that's the thing too. Is like with when Baby Kong. Oh my God, I can't believe I fucking said that.
Baby Kong,
Kong is in this. It reminds me of like how in the original King Kong, it was beauty that killed the beast. It was a sense of like trying to find a family, trying to find love, trying to find a connection. And this goes with King Kong's character, where he's like he wants to find more of his kind,
Yeah.
more of who he was, and because he's so fucking lonely, he's like, what am I gonna do? Just eat monsters and like roam
Exactly.
around?
They got him in like Middle Earth, which that part I really like.
Yeah, same.
I like the lore of like we got Kong controlling this Middle Earth part, and then Godzilla's like dealing with everybody else,
Yeah,
and they're kind of working out a way to like keep everybody safe. But the Middle Earth lore I think is really cool. immediately we're open to a beautiful sequence of Kong just kind of rolling around Middle
Yeah.
Earth, and it looks really nice. We get the scene of Kong like ripping the creature in half,
Yes.
having blood all over him, and then taking a shower.
Just his day to day, you know.
I'm like, wow, Kong
another
taking
Tuesday.
a shower in the first 10 minutes of this film is not what I expected.
No, but
But I had fun with it, man. Yeah.
I think with doing something like this, you have to like try to progress these characters in a way.
Sure.
And the cool thing about this film, unlike the other monster films, is that it uses visual storytelling so well.
Yes.
Because it's just like the first 10 minutes, there is no dialogue.
Yeah.
I love that.
And that's not the only time. There's
Yeah.
sequences of 10 minutes, 15 minutes where there's no dialogue at all. And it works really well.
Yeah, absolutely. Which is why, like, I remember Adam Wingard was talking about it, where it's just like, oh yeah, this film is like 70% CGI.
Right.
I could totally see that.
Of course. It's not terrible looking CGI.
No.
And the fight sequences, I think, deliver. And what they get, obviously, the human plot falls short, like usual.
Yes.
Like the human characters are just literally exposition vehicles.
It
like,
is so paper thin.
Yeah.
I wondered, remember when we did Transformers Rise of the Beast and how
Yeah.
we complained about those human characters, like it's going on too long?
Right.
I feel like this movie pushed that limit. Like, I can't imagine you cutting down any more human scenes at this for this fucking movie.
Right.
Like, I can't. What can you cut out?
Which made it bearable.
Yeah.
It's not like there was like a half an hour human sequence we
No.
had to sit through. It was like, okay, like let's get the human scenes done and get back to the action, which was good. They understood that, like, you know, we have a weak human plot here.
Yes.
Let's just make it mostly action.
The best part of the human scenes is the little girl.
Yeah,
The little
I
girl,
agree.
because she's connected with Mothra,
Yeah.
which in the lore, and this is when I love it, because it's like, oh, finally they're getting really fucking weird with this shit.
Yeah.
Because in the lore, Mothra's controlled by a telekinetic girl. I could be not too specific because I haven't seen the movies in so long. I saw these when I was a kid.
Right.
I just want to see people in rubber suits fighting.
Yeah.
Yeah, call me weird. But anyways, that's what the lore is. And the little girl shows that. And she communicates through sign language, which is another visual storytelling medium that I loved.
Yeah.
You know, you contrast that with what Kong is going through, of her trying to find her own people. Like, she's so lonely in this world because nobody understands her. Even her own mom, played by Rebecca Hall, she's like, I want to know more about what's going on, you know, mentally.
That's right. Yeah, it is a parallel to what Kong is going through. And I think it's a bold choice to do the sign language instead of speaking, considering how
Yes.
little speaking is in the film.
Yeah.
And then when we meet her people, they don't talk either. They speak through telekinesis.
Yeah.
So we just see them like looking at each other and shit.
Oh, yeah.
And I thought that was a bold choice given how little dialogue is in the rest of the film.
No, exactly. But that's kind of what I liked, because if you watched the Showa era of Godzilla, which is around the 60s and 70s, they made a bunch of these Godzilla films.
Yeah.
A lot of kids outside of Japan remember them, not from the dialogue, but from the visuals. And it's just because the dialogue was just used to progress the story. Like, Godzilla is in this city, cut to the city, 5-minute to 10-minute long action
Right.
sequence. And I feel like this movie was the exact same thing.
Yeah, it
just
is.
with $100 million budget, which I love. I
Yeah,
love
it
that we
really
got
is.
this.
The people
this
are
exists.
just there to commentate like what everybody's doing.
Exactly.
That's literally it.
Oh man, is it weird that like this movie came out like a few months after Godzilla -1?
Do you think that helps or hurts this film?
It would be like if Nolan was talking to Joel Schumacher and their Batman films came out around
Right.
the same time. It is
It's
so
odd.
fucking weird.
It's odd.
Yeah, I don't think it is. I feel like both are different enough in terms of tone
Yeah.
that they can exist, you know.
I agree. I mean, Godzilla -1 is praised for its human character
Yes.
story, right? This is
Not this.
This is not going to be that. But if you're looking for some fun action, I think this movie is pretty worth the watch. I would say.
Yeah.
It gets silly. I like when it's silly.
Yeah, same.
Like the King Kong tooth replacement.
Hell yeah, man.
Like the scene is so fucking ridiculous.
You get introduced by the Dan Stevens character.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Dan Stevens' character, his name's Trapper. Of course it is.
Of course. You can name him anything.
Yeah. His name's Trapper. I thought that was a very fun character introduction, pretty memorable.
Yeah.
He comes down on the crane, replaces like his Godzilla has a toothache, I guess. I thought that was a pretty fun scene, and I thought his character was fun.
Yeah.
It was like Rebecca Hall and stuff. Like they're stuck with doing all the exposition, and I felt like Dan Stevens can have like some fun.
Yeah.
He was a comedic relief.
I want to do a test with you, Nathan. How many actors from King Kong versus Godzilla have returned in this movie?
I have no fucking clue. Hold on. Okay, hold on.
Okay.
The podcast guy,
Yep.
Brian Therese Henry,
Yeah.
was in the first one.
He was.
He was.
Yep.
I remember that.
You got one.
Rebecca Hall was in the
Yep.
first one. I don't even
That's
remember
it.
the kid in the first one. Was
And
the kid in the first one?
The kid, yeah. But she was a lot younger, obviously. She was like probably like 8 or 9 years old.
Okay, and that's it, right?
That's it, yep.
Okay.
And there's 3 of them that came back from the first one, and then they added 4 more actors.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's your cast, guys.
Keep it simple, I guess. Like they
We
know
don't-
what they had. They leaned into it.
Yeah, we don't need Millie Bobby Brown. We don't need. Remember, she was in the last one. I totally forgot until I looked into it.
I don't remember
She was
her
in
it at
she
all.
was in Godzilla 2, Part 2, and then she was also in King Kong versus Godzilla, which also had her dad was what's his name? Kyle something, the actor who was in the Peter Jackson King Kong movie. Which, if you want to get more confusing, that's like,
How do I not remember Millie Bobby Brown in that fucking movie?
well, she wasn't that memorable compared to Giant Monkey
Right.
versus Big Lizard dude.
Fair enough. Yeah, fair enough.
But I also liked it because, like, as I said before, the little girl doing sign language. This and the Creed movies, I feel like it's a nice, refreshing take on that because film is a visual medium, and it's nice to see that aspect of it being shown.
It's nice to see movies like this getting made, where it's
Yeah.
like they know what they are.
Yeah.
They're not trying to tell the most complicated story.
No.
In fact, they know that their story is pretty thin, but they know that people want to see these big fucking monsters fight.
Why not? Yeah.
So do that right, and we'll be happy enough.
Do you know what was the fucking climax of this? Because, like, as much as like I love a lot of these scenes, like one of my favorites is when we introduce Baby Kong
Yeah.
right away, and like he's trying to like beat the shit out of King Kong. So what King Kong does is he
Oh my
grabs
God.
him and he whacks him with other apes. Dude, I laughed so fucking hard in the theater.
That scene is. I laughed so. Everybody laughed hard. There was like audible laughter in my theater.
The fucking kids next to me looked at me. They're like, "Are you okay?" I was like, dude, how
No.
are you not laughing at this?"
It was so funny the way he whipped him. Like he did not give a shit about him. It wasn't like, oh, go attack. It was like, no, I'm using your body as like.
Oh my god, it was the funniest shit ever, man. Like that scene. There was another scene where it was closer to the end with the anti-gravity thing. Where
Yeah.
it's like, dude, I'm watching like giant monkeys floating and like literally, dude. And they're like, whoa, and then Kong's like punching and Godzilla's floating.
Yeah, and they're
Oh,
like flying off rocks, punching each other.
just take them to space at this point.
It's silly. It's silly, but they know it is.
Yes,
They know it is, right? They're not trying to do anything deep.
they're having fun.
Even like what, like the part that's the most ridiculous, I think, is like when Kong gets his frostbite on his hand, right? Mm-hmm. And then he goes back to the humans, and they're like,
Yeah.
oh no, his hand looks bad. Wait a minute, what about Project whatever the fuck?
Oh, literally. What about convenient plot point number 5?
What about Project whatever the fuck? It was almost done, and we have a prototype apparently right here where Kong is.
Yeah.
Ready to go from some abandoned project from years ago.
They never brought it up once? Like, what the fuck?
And then like the man installs a power glove
Yeah.
on Kong in 5 minutes, and he's ready to go.
At that point, like, I was like, yeah, fuck it.
Yeah, they're just like, fuck it, just get him back out there, I guess.
That felt very much like Aquaman 2 type of writing.
Oh,
where I was
man.
just like, ooh, you really need to get through this.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I thought I wasn't gonna like this movie very much based on the trailer.
Right.
It looked a little too over the top to me.
Yeah.
And I didn't know how I was gonna feel about it. but I was pleasantly surprised with how much fun I had with it. I took my girlfriend; she had seen no Godzilla anything, knew nothing about the lore or anything, and she had a lot of fun with it. It's
Oh,
like
yeah.
the kind of movie where anybody could find an aspect that they like. I think.
Yeah, and the only thing I can think of a lot of people might be nitpicky about is it's a lot of action, but at the same time, you're watching a Godzilla versus Kong movie. That is what you paid to see.
You have to know where you're coming in for.
Yeah.
You have to know that you didn't buy a ticket to a Scorsese film.
Yeah.
This is not Killers of the Flower Moon.
No.
It's
No,
Godzilla
it is
versus
fucking
Kong.
not. And it's also not like a Michael Bay Transformers film where it's
Right.
3.5 hours long and stuff. That's the issue of those films, in my opinion, is that the human characters drag it so long.
Yeah, what was the runtime of this film?
Under 2 hours.
Yeah.
I think similar to the last Godzilla X Kong film or whatever. I don't think this is as stylistic as the previous one.
No.
The previous one had that neon fight, remember, at night, and
Yes.
then like Godzilla breathed fire and Kong had his fucking axe, and I remember those parts.
The climax fight was certainly more memorable in that film.
Yeah.
This film, it's like you're kind of like, what is the climax of this film?
It's a WWE like SmackDown.
It's basically WWE. Like they literally let one character have their moment, and it's like it's literally WWE choreography.
Yeah.
in Godzilla.
Another thing too was when Baby Kong and Kong are like walking around, they go to that like lava area where
Yeah.
all the monkeys are like moving rocks
Yeah, they're
and
like-
stuff.
It looks like kind of like
It looks like Temple of Doom.
yeah.
I was like, wait, are we watching Temple of Doom? Because like logically speaking, it's like, okay, all these monkeys, like they're being enslaved by the red monkey, like the evil bad one. But I'm thinking like, well, what are they doing? Are they
Right.
just moving rocks? Like what the fuck? Like what are they? Like I'm a monkey, I guess.
It's never explained like what they're building. Like
Yeah. It's just the fucking
they just have to do something, I guess.
like I'm taking in just like it reminded me of Temple of Doom, but I remember the logic behind that movie because you know
Right.
obviously, but this one I was just like, but they're all giant monkeys.
Yeah.
What the fuck are they doing?
It makes no sense, but they
No.
don't harp on it. That's
No,
the thing. They're
exactly.
like, everything moves pretty quickly, and like we're back to another action scene within 5 minutes.
Yeah, and the red monkey, which again, like how do you top Mecha Godzilla?
Right, him as the antagonist is kind of like really, bro.
I could think of a better one, like King Ghidorah.
Right.
Like, imagine they bring back King Ghidorah, but he's like more of a even bigger than before. That's the thing with the Godzilla films is that like no monsters are ever really gone.
Yeah,
That's
of
why when I
course.
saw Mothra die in like one of the Godzilla King of the Monsters, like, oh, she's coming back,
Of course.
guaranteed. And surprisingly, she's in this, but not as long as I thought. Mm-hmm. She's like a glorified cameo monster.
Also, yeah, not as long as you thought, and also just like not even really being a monster, just kind of cleaning things up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just
I
like,
would have wanted more of like fucking kill a monster.
just comes in and like cleans things up and saves people at their opportune time, but doesn't fuck shit up at all.
No.
And I kind of wanted to see Mothra fuck some shit up.
Yeah, Mothra's awesome. I mean, they finally put in the lore of like the little girl, like,
Right.
you know, with Mothra, and I'm just like, when that shot showed up, I was like, dude, this is literally like the 60s.
Right.
It's like, I don't know how to describe it, but it's like seeing a live action, big budget, like stylistic Adam West Batman film.
Yeah.
And they fucking did it, and it works. To me, it works. Like, it doesn't look bad, and it's just like they play it straight. That's the thing too. They don't wink at the camera. The only person that's really comedic is Brian Tyree Henry and Dan Stevens.
Exactly, yeah.
But their comedy isn't like the Marvel like.
No.
They know when to shut up.
Yeah, exactly. And I think Rebecca Hall does a great job of playing it straight because
Yes.
she has to carry the human storyline on her shoulders, really.
Yeah.
And she does a good job of establishing the relationship with the kid, Gia. And has you have like a good emotional moment towards the
Yeah.
end, which is more than I expected from this film.
Oh,
Like,
absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Some of the line deliveries that Rebecca Hall is giving, like she's doing really good.
You
with
believe it. Like
Yeah.
you believe she's in this.
Yeah,
Like,
because
you know?
some lines like there's some heartfelt moments with her and her daughter that
Yeah.
are very good, but then there's others where it's like, okay, you have to say Godzilla is sleeping at the Roman Colosseum. Like you have
Yeah.
to be convincing with that, and she does a great job at doing that too.
I agree. I
so-
agree with what she's given. I think she does a great job, and I think the kid gives a pretty good performance as well.
Oh, absolutely. Comparing this to the other MonsterVerse films, how many have you seen? Like, there's been 5 in total. None.
Not many. Like I said, I saw the Godzilla versus
Godzilla versus Kong.
Kong.
Did you see Kong Skull Island?
I saw Kong Skull Island. Yeah,
Yeah.
those are the two I saw. So that's it for me.
Okay, so you-
fill me in on what the rest is for you.
Well, the first Godzilla was directed by Gareth Edwards, which we covered on The Creator.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So I think that was his first film before Rogue One. And that's a more grounded version of Godzilla. That's the
Yeah.
one where you see him for like 10 minutes in his own fucking movie. And if you like that intensity, good for you. I want to see more Godzilla.
So it's a human driven.
Yeah, like Bryan
was
Cranston-
it critically acclaimed or?
It got good reviews.
Decent
I don't think it was
reviews, yeah?
critically acclaimed, but it got pretty good reviews. Bryan Cranston's in it for like 5 minutes.
Oh, okay.
They wasted his ass. Like,
Damn.
fuck, I wish he was the main character.
That would have
but-
been fun.
Yeah. But they got his son instead, which was played by Aaron Taylor Johnson, kick ass.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Not as interesting, unfortunately, I don't think. So that movie was okay. And then they made Kong Skull Island, which I fucking love.
Mm-hmm.
I love the style of that. It reminded me of like Apocalypse Now, but like with monsters.
Kong Skull Island was dope.
Was really good. That might be my favorite one actually, out of all the MonsterVerse films. And then there's Godzilla King of the Monsters. That's where Millie Bobby Brown shows up, and I noticed that a lot of Godzilla films always use like a little kid to be like the tentpole of like this monster extravaganza or whatever, because they do the same thing with the King Kong versus Godzilla films.
Yeah, they try to contrast like this monster beast with this like cute little kid.
Yeah, but because Millie Bobby Brown is too expensive and she's doing Stranger Things season 6,
Right.
they can't cast her again, so they get the little girl instead. I get it. I would say they're okay. The best ones being Kong Skull Island and Godzilla vs. Kong. Those are my favorites.
Yeah.
But yeah. What do you think they can do after this?
Yeah.
What can you do after this?
So this is the second one directed by the same guy, right?
Adam Wingard.
By
yeah.
Adam Wingard. So I think he deserves another crack at it, a trilogy.
Oh, absolutely.
Personally,
Yeah.
he's done some quality action here. Maybe on the trilogy you can try and tie in a better human storyline. That's all we're missing here.
Yeah.
Because you got the action down, man. We're
Oh,
happy
yeah.
with it.
I fully agree. I think you know what they should do? They should just do a remake of Destroy All Monsters.
Okay, yeah.
So Destroy All Monsters is a film that Toho made, which was like, hey, every character we've created up until this point, yeah, they're all just gonna fight now.
Or fuck it, just do that shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just do like epic action conclusion. Fuck it. The whole trilogy has shit human characters, but it has some of the best action that the Monsterverse has provided,
Yeah.
right? Just lean into that. People will be happy with it.
That would be amazing. Or like Godzilla Final Wars. That was a film that they released like 20 years ago. That was like, yeah, this is our last Godzilla film, guys. This is Toho. We're doing this. And I think that was also the scene where, you know, the Matthew Broderick Godzilla film?
No, I actually don't.
Really? The American one that they made in the 90s?
No, I'm actually not familiar
Oh
with them.
shit. Well, to all the viewers, they made a Godzilla film in the 90s, which was fucking dog shit. It was so bad that Toho.
Oh, wow, look at this cast.
I know it's a stack.
It's a
cast.
90s cast
It's
for
a
sure.
90s, yeah. Fucking Simpsons actors and whatnot.
Yeah.
But Toho looked at this film, the American one, and they was like, it was so shit that we retconned it, and that Godzilla is actually called Zilla. It's not actually Godzilla. And in Godzilla Final Wars, Godzilla fucking kills Zilla in 2 seconds.
Damn.
And it was like the greatest thing ever, man. It was like the best retcon I've
That's
ever
a
seen.
great record. Just a 2-second kill. Just like, sorry about that, guys. Like, let's move on.
Like if these movies, if what Adam Wingard is directing them like into a more obscure, more fucked up, more weird, go for what Toho was doing in like the 60s and 70s, just a bigger budget. I'll love it.
There you go. That's what we want. We want fucked up. We want weird. We want outside the box. We want take it as far as you can go.
Yeah, dude. If I see a big budget Gamera movie, the fucking turtle, oh my god, that would be insane.
That would be insane.
Jet Jaguar, yo, shout out to Jet Jaguar. If anybody knows what I'm talking about,
So
live action.
So there's
big
a lot of
reboot.
lore to play with.
Oh yeah, I fuck with it. I could go on all day. Adam Wingard, if you're watching this, I know you're not, but if you are, please add all these fucking awesome characters. This movie was really fun.
Yeah. What would you say was the best acting performance in this film?
Baby Kong.
Baby Kong,
Baby
man.
Kong, man. Yo, Baby Kong.
I want to see Baby Kong accept an Academy Award.
It's
next
gonna
year.
happen. It's gonna happen. If it doesn't, the Academy, you fucking snubbed. You snubbed Baby Kong.
Baby Kong snubbed for real.
What's your rating for this? What are your overall?
Okay, final rating. I had more fun with this than I thought I was going to. I think this is a fun watch for anybody. I will recommend this film, and I'm gonna give it 3 stars. 6 out of 10 is my rating.
Hell yeah.
Very fair.
I'm going to give it the same 6 out of 10, 3 out of 5. It's not my favorite Monsterverse film. I think Kong Skull Island and the original King Kong vs. Godzilla from 2021 is more stylistic.
Yeah.
But if you're a fan of Godzilla and you're a fan of Kong, there's going to be something here that you're going to fuck with, and I would highly recommend it.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. Definitely a fun watch.
Man, I want them to go to space so badly now. Imagine Godzilla in space.
Get weird with the next one.
Oh.
Let us know in the comments where you think they should take the third one and your thoughts on this film. We'll wrap it up there. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe to your boys, and we'll catch you in the next one. Take care. Brush your hair.
Peace.